Hello Internet, welcome back to the Jongravesshow. I got a lot more shotgun news for you. In this case, if someone thinks that the Division 2 will make a perfect date night activity, or better yet, a game to play with other people in general, not necessarily because of the fact of like that it's a pretty good game. Well, like that's kind of tipping the scale, especially with what we've been handed like so far. But at the same time though, they think that it's a really good game because even if I beat the game, or at the very least like I'm like 10 levels behind or ahead, like we can still play the same missions. I may not get the experience for it because I've already beaten it, but at the very least, you can still help me with the mission. I can call other people to come and help me out. I can go to people, I can help them out, do PvP, enter the dark zone, all this, and it doesn't hurt the gameplay whatsoever, which is very different because again, as we know, like how Anthem, Fallout 76, like how they do their online, which is very even Sea of Thieves, how they do their online is a bit annoying, you know. I mean, again, like I love DMC, like that. I mean, I love DMC5, right? But at the same time, though, it's like, you know, a game of that caliber. I mean, hopefully, I can't really slide it for that because that's mostly a single player game. But let me change it to Dragon Quest Heroes 2. Specifically, that game I can't play online with other people unless I've beaten the mission. Now that is really annoying, and I wish the game didn't do that. However, I still have games like God Eater and God Eater 3 and Monster Hunter where I can just jump online with a friend, but still with those same games though, like I can't just jump into them. So like I can't just jump into the mission. Which surprisingly, those kind of missions are really hard to come by. But I still like them though. So what's next do we have on the agenda? Okay, oh yeah, Wolfenstein the Youngblood. Honestly, if I can be fair with everybody, it's like I kind of like all the media around this game, like when it was announced at E3, like I know that this is like 2017 problems or 2018 problems, where people were trying to complain about like that there weren't enough female protagonists in games and whatnot. But to be fair, or at least like even like in Wolfenstein, like in a whole, because I have Wolfenstein 2 and 1, right? I love both of those games, right? But honestly, it kind of got a bit too like ahead, where basically people were saying a lot of silly things, such as this game has like a propaganda, so like it has a propaganda motive and whatnot, and that like it's trying to take a stance against Nazis. And it's like Wolfenstein has always been about fighting Nazis. Now, mind you, I'm just getting this off my chest now, but talking about the article itself, the coolest thing about Wolfenstein the Youngblood is that basically you play as the daughters of BJ Blazkowicz. Alright, and basically one of the mothers of Commander Keen and the grandmother of the Doomslayer in this case. And basically this game, I feel, is taking a what in the world was that game called? The one with the two prisoners, or like I think it was, I forget the name of it, but like that cool co-op game that came out last year. Oh Christ. It was the cool co-op game that came out last year, and basically this game is gonna take a few it's taking a few nods from it, in a sense that it is a co-op game where basically you don't, like, the person who that you play with, they don't actually have to own the game. Like when you purchase it, you can send you can send an invite to one of your friends, and basically that friend can join in the game with you, and they can play through the entire game with you because they get something of a buddy pass. Okay, so you and a friend can play through the entire game, and also if you have the, I want to say the deluxe edition, you also get a whole bunch of cosmetic items, and you get a whole bunch of cool weapons. I think also with that one too, is like that they can also play it on their own, like if you have the deluxe edition. So basically, not only can they play through the story mode with you, they can also like play it on their own and have a lot of fun just sort of going through the story and whatnot. And this is if they want to get it on their own. So yeah, like this is a game that I will be picking up because I have the first two. So I gotta pick up this one. Oh yeah, that, and also the Old Blood too. Like, but that game's a bit more comedic, whereas that 2 is a bit more depressing in a sense. But I like it. So yeah, moving on to something that should have been there from day one. Anthem adds DLSS, which ups the performance by 40%. Enough said. Keep fixing your game, and hopefully people they don't die out or they get tired of it. Now this one is something that's kind of super important. Not only is Final Fantasy VII coming to Xbox, the biggest thing about it is that technically, as they say, is that the biggest challenge of Final Fantasy VII isn't necessarily making the game, it's the scope and tone. Now I can kind of understand that, not necessarily in the sense of like that Barrett is basically like a active terrorist essentially, because you're on his side, and basically like the first thing you do like in the original Final Fantasy VII is that you destroy a reactor. Like that is the first thing you do in the game. Like that's like where like you meet, or it's like you hop off of a train like leading to a reactor, and then once you get there you basically just like have to destroy the thing like because that's what you do, shutting off power like to the upper sectors and whatnot, you know. Now that's something like that does happen in the little trailer, like when the original Final Fantasy VII trailer was actually like when they were showing cutscenes and everything. It's like you start in the exact same place, no matter how much they change Barrett or whatever he says and whatnot. He's still a terrorist, but at the same time, you also kind of look at the corporations and whatnot who are basically going as far as they can to stop these guys, such as crushing like an entire sector of people and killing a whole bunch of innocent people just to get these guys. Now that kind of tone specifically, does that actually help Final Fantasy VII Remake, or does it hurt it? Well, all that honestly depends on like if people are actually willing to deal with the story of that, because again, this is also a story where basically because people are mining magic from the planet and actually refining it into wearable accessories and whatnot, you know, that the planet actually like released 4 giant mechas out to basically kill everybody on the planet. Now, is that a bad thing or is that a good thing? Is very wishy-washy, but again, at the same time, that tone could be a make or break for the series. Not also to mentioning that also Final Fantasy VII also had human experimentation in it and a whole bunch of other stuff. You know, there's a whole bunch of crazy and messed up things like present in Final Fantasy VII alone that I feel that real fans like just kind of like say, yeah, like this is what we need to make a good story, versus people looking on the outside saying, well, now this game is terrible because of the fact that it starts out with like terrorism, starts out with basically people like getting murdered, like indiscriminately getting murdered like in a company. You know what I mean? Kidnappings, like some guy forcing taking forced brides and whatnot, you know. I mean, like, this is just like in the Mako reactor section. Like this isn't even talking about going out like into you visiting like Wutai and reliving like the Wutai War and all that crazy stuff. So I can see the tone alone being something that could actually hurt Final Fantasy VII. But then again, I don't think it's strong enough to stop them from making the game, or at the very least for its selling. Because again, the biggest thing that they need to remember about Final Fantasy, if they remake Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VIII, 9, 10, whatever it may be, I mean, like, this city is out right now, and it is that those games run on nostalgia. I mean, again, like, if someone said, hey, man, like, we're gonna remake Grand Theft Auto San Andreas with basically, like, PlayStation 4 graphics, you think people are not going mad to buy that game based on tone? Believe me, that game will sell gangbusters. But essentially, that is what I gotta say about that. I'll catch you guys on the next Jongravesshow Show. Please keep watching anime, keep playing video games, and don't let what the world tells you, like, keep you from buying the games you want. I'm out.